So let's look at team development, and then we'll talk about that imbalance. So what are we looking for when we think about how vision and technical skills overlap and create team development? Um, it starts with having a strategic vision, right? Um, it's more common than I would have ever expected. Originally coming from being a high school educator and then in the nonprofit space. I think I had this vision of big companies having all these um, really effective ways of creating strategy, and was kind of surprised to see how rarely that occurred. So having a really strong team vision that that comes through in the way that we handle ourselves, that we have our conversations, right? So when I talk about the bright, beautiful future that I'm trying to live in and go with all of you together, I'm also talking about it as it relates to our IT team, right? And those technical capabilities that we have. So it's not just building a better product or providing a better service, but also what that means and how that includes the ways that we will achieve that dream with our technical capabilities. That we track that performance against the vision, right? Are we actually creating the value for the world that we intend to create? And that's not just measured in, you know, the bottom line, right? That's really looking back out into the world and asking ourselves, is this the value, the vision that we intended to bring to the world? Because in my personal experience, if you got into business to make money, you're missing the most important points, right? It's really the value that you bring that nobody else can bring but you to the world, to your customers, whoever that may be. And then being able to make real-time adjustments based on that team performance, right? So I can look at the technical skills and say, these aren't up to snuff. Or maybe even have the knowledge of the technology to say this system is not up to stuff. But we need to look at our performance against the vision and ask those hard questions. Why isn't this happening the way that we think it should? And then most importantly, developing mentor relationships within the team. So I can look at different people on my team and say, okay, great. So you've got really strong technical skills on this particular platform. This person, not so great. Maybe you can work with that person a little bit, kind of share how you gain that knowledge, how you develop those skills. But that other person is actually really good presenting to top executives. So what I'd love for you to do when you're working with that other person to share how great you are at, Excel or whatever technical platform, is that you learn from that person what he or she is thinking about when she's presenting to executives, right? So identifying the differentials in the technical skills on your team, and then building mentorship connections around those within your team. Okay? So that's kind of just some examples of how and where these things overlap and the way that we think about them, right? So I wouldn't just send somebody to, a technical training on something if I couldn't tie that to, strategy and vision.